ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः. So good evening children, Sai Ram to all of you, and today we will be completing a very brief introduction to Bhagavad Gita, the 18th chapter. A brief summary will take. You must understand children that whatever I have talked to you is only one small drop, okay? One small drop of an ocean called as Bhagavad Gita. Okay, I have only sown a seed in your minds so that you get interested in future to study this. So whatever I have discussed in this last 40 days is a very small portion and a summary of only 2 or 3 verses of each chapter, only to make you familiar with this. Because you are not familiar with this, you did not know what Bhagavad Gita is. So I have given you a small dose, like a vaccination dose we give, no? Like that, I have given you a small dose to get interested in this. And all these days, we saw the 17 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. And we know that the first chapter was the introduction of the characters of the Guru, Bhagwan Krishna, and the Shishya Arjuna in the context of Mahabharata war. So the whole war was described. Second chapter was literally the summary of whatever is to come in the next 16 chapters. Then third chapter onwards till the 17th chapter which we took yesterday, all these chapters Bhagwan Krishna spoke about 2 very important things. First, he said that what is important in getting free from this fear, confusion, and sorrow. That was what Arjuna had, isn't it? Fear, confusion, and sorrow. We also have the same thing. All of us have got lot of confusion, fear, and sorrow. So the first thing Bhagwan Krishna says is that to completely free yourself forever from this fear, confusion, and sorrow, there is only one way. And what is that one way? That is to understand. Understand what? Understand what is God. What is the nature of God? What is the nature of me, the individual? And this understanding, this knowledge, which our scriptures tell, and Bhagwan Krishna gives the same knowledge to Arjuna, that is what is called as the Atmajnana or Brahmajnana. And ultimately, what is the meaning of Atmajnana? Understanding that I, this individual, is not the body, but I am Atma, which is backing this body. And what is Bhagwan or what is God? Bhagwan or God is not the shape and the form that I see, but Bhagwan's nature also is nothing but that Atma. And ultimately, Bhagwan said that what is this ultimate understanding? That Atma which is here and that Paraprakriti of Bhagwan or Atma is one and the same. Okay, this is the knowledge which ultimately makes me a sthita prajna. It gives me moksha. What is moksha? Freedom from fear, confusion, and sorrow. And to understand this knowledge, what is necessary? We have to make our mind prepared for this knowledge, because our minds are not yet prepared for this knowledge. Therefore, all of us, not only you children, all of us, even I, every one of us, have to prepare our minds for this knowledge, because this knowledge is a difficult knowledge. Because when Lord Krishna says, Arjuna, you are not the Deha, you are that Atma Dehi which is backing this body, it is difficult for us to understand. When Bhagwan says, you understand me as the Apara Prakriti and Para Prakriti, you understand me as the material of this whole world and the maker of this whole world. I have discussed this with you. It is difficult for us to understand. Why? Because we have not been exposed to this knowledge before. We have not heard this knowledge before. And therefore, Bhagwan says that we have to prepare ourselves. We have to prepare our minds to receive this serious knowledge of the scriptures called as the Atmajnana or Brahmajnana. And how do you prepare? All through these chapters, Bhagwan gave what? The preparation of the mind. What's the preparation of the mind? How is it? Karma Yoga. By Karma Yoga, you prepare the mind. By worship of God, you prepare the mind. By bhakti or connecting to God, surrendering to God, you prepare this mind. And when this mind is prepared by Karma Yoga, by worship with an attitude of bhakti, then this mind is like a field prepared to receive the seed. I told you about the field, correct? We discussed very clearly, no? Supposing you have to sow a seed in a field, what are the preparations that you have to do? We discussed it, correct? First, we have to remove all the weeds. Then we have to loosen the soil, remove all the stones and rocks, correct? Then sow the seed. And then what do? We have to strengthen the soil by adding some kind of a fertilizer and go on adding water, giving water to this, and ultimately this seed is going to sprout. Therefore, the preparation of the mind is like preparing a field to sow the seed. And what is this seed that Bhagwan is sowing in our minds? It is the seed of this knowledge, the seed of Atmajnana. Immediately, we will not be able to understand this, but this seed has been sown into our minds, and slowly, over a period of time, with continuous reading, with repeated chanting, and understanding it again and again and again from your gurus, slowly this seed of knowledge will start sprouting. And one day it will become a big tree of knowledge for you all. When you grow up, you will need this knowledge the most. Now you are all children, supported, protected by your parents, protected by Swami, protected by everybody, your teachers, correct? And this knowledge, now itself, you start imbibing this slowly, like what you did now, in small doses. A time will come when you finish your studies and start facing the world. By then, this knowledge would have become a big tree in your minds, and nothing can scare you. I'll tell you, children. You have this knowledge that Bhagwan is everywhere, Lord is everywhere, God is everywhere. In everything there is God, and I surrender to God. Then there is no fear of anything. That is what Bhagwan is saying. And when you understand this, what happens? You see the same God in yourself and in everybody else. Therefore, how do you behave with others? You are going to be extremely good with good values. We talked about values in the 13th chapter. Remember, children? Amanitvam, Adambitvam. Then we talked about the Daivi Sampatti. in the 16th chapter. You remember, isn't it? So, by developing, by imbibing these good values, all the negative values will just go away. And we understand that this Atma in me, this God who is residing in me, in my heart, is the same God who is residing in all the hearts. Therefore, how do I behave with others? I'll be most compassionate. I will do my duty well. I will help others. I become an asset to the society. Do you understand? That is the reason, that is the purpose of reading these things, Bhagavad Gita. So, in today's 18th chapter, what is Bhagwan doing? He is summarizing the entire Bhagavad Gita. So, I am going to take up now only the few verses, 5 verses I am going to take. And the first verse I am going to take is the 61st verse. So, whatever I said all this far, in the 61st verse, Bhagwan Krishna tells Arjuna, what does he say? Ishvara sarva bhutanam hriddesherjuna tishtati brahmayan sarva bhutani yantrarudhani mayaya. So what Bhagwan says is, remember Arjuna, the body of all the individuals is nothing but my apara prakriti maya. But what is there in the heart of everybody? In everybody's heart, as God, I am there. Hridaye, in everybody's heart, I reside. Who is that I in everybody's heart? I am that God, he says. I, Bhagwan, God or Ishvara resides in everybody's hearts. And this Ishvara residing in everybody's hearts is directing every being, every living being in doing whatever a living being is doing. Therefore, whenever you understand this very clearly, that in every Jiva's heart, there is nothing other than Ishvara or God, then what happens to you? You will respect the other person. You will respect every living being. You will love every living being. You will not have any himsa, thoughts of himsa towards other beings. You will be compassionate towards other beings. You will accommodate whatever they do. You see the glory of God in every living being. So what he says is, I, God or Ishvara, resides in the heart of every living being. And I am the one who makes every living being to function in this world. This is the important summary you have to take of Bhagavad Gita. Where is God? God is everywhere. Is he here also? Yes. God is in my heart. God is in your heart. God is in your heart. Whoever is there, in all the living beings, in all the jivas, all the 84 lakhs of jivas that are there is this God in every living being, in the heart of every being. This is the most important summary that you have to take home from Bhagavad Gita. Then in the 62nd verse, what does Bhagavan say? Tameva sharanam gaccha sarvabhavena bharata tat prasadat param shantim sthanam prapsyasi shashvatam. So, hey Arjuna, don't look for God here and there anywhere. God is in your heart. God is in the heart of every being next to you. Whoever is there with you, in front of you, behind you, every jiva, in the heart of every jiva, I am there. You surrender to me. You surrender to that Ishvara in the heart of every living being. And then, in what way? Sarva Bhavena. Whatever you do, in all, with all your emotions, with all your feelings, whatever you are doing, you surrender to this God who is residing in your heart. You may not have a temple close by. You may not have anything where you can go searching for God. No need. There is no need to search for God anywhere. God is in me, within me. As what? As this Atma, as this consciousness principle, as this life principle. Okay? And this is what makes me do everything that I am doing. When I'm talking now, what is making me talk, children? It is this Ishvara sitting here in my heart which is making me talk. What is making you listen to me? It is that Ishvara sitting in your heart which is making you listen to me. All the activities that happen are happening because of the backing of this Ishvara or God in every living being's heart. Therefore, Tameva Sharanam Gacha. Surrender completely to that Lord, which is everywhere. All over, wherever you see there is God. You may not be able to find everywhere, difficult to understand. Then where do you look for this God? Here, in my own heart, in the heart of every jiva. I understand that that which is constantly available here as the life principle, that is God, that is Ishvara. Tameva Sharanam Gacha Sarva Bhavena. So, whatever you do, wherever you are, may you have me constantly in your mind and may you surrender to me. And when you surrender to me, what happens? My prasada will be there for you in the form of peace, security, and happiness. That's what he's saying here. Tat prasadat paramam shantim sthanam prapsyasi shashwatam. You will ever be peaceful. You will ever be secure. You will always be happy. What are we looking for in our lives, children? We want peace. We want security. We want happiness. Isn't it? Every jiva wants that. You understand that? Isn't it? We want to be peaceful. We don't want to be disturbed by anybody. We want to feel secure. We want to feel protected. And we want to always have a feeling of happiness. And Bhagwan says, you surrender to me who is residing in your heart, in every jiva's heart. And what is my prasada to you when you recognize this? Peace, security, and happiness will be my prasada to you. And then the same thing he winds up in this chapter in the form of what is a karma yogi, who is a jnana yogi. We have talked about it. Karma yogi means what? The one who offers all his actions out of devotion to the Lord, to God, is called as Karma Yogi, and he is going to give the most important verse of entire Bhagavad Gita, which appears twice. No shloka in Bhagavad Gita is appearing in two places. But this one, which is the 65th verse, verse number 65, it appears in two places. At the end of the 9th chapter, the last shloka of the 9th chapter, and the penultimate teaching shloka of the 18th chapter is the same thing. I have taught you this shloka. I have given you the meaning of this shloka. But then Bhagwan here is summarizing. So he gives this shloka to indicate that may you all be my bhaktas. May all you be karma yogis. So what does he say? Manmana bhava mad bhaktaha madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. Krishna is telling here, Arjuna, I am giving you a promise. I am telling you the truth. Satyam te. Believe what I am telling you. Manmana bhava, madbhakto bhava, madhyaji bhava, mam namaskuru. Be my bhakta. Surrender to me. Surrender all your sankalpas to me. Surrender all your actions to me. Always be connected with me. May you become my bhakta. May every action of yours become a worship to me. Whatever you do, you offer it to me. Whatever you experience and get in this life, may you take it as my prasada. Then what happens? Mameva yeshyasi. You become one with me. I will absorb you into me. And you will, Bhagwan says, never come back again and again. You will not come back again and again. I will see that you reach me. What is the meaning of reach me? The meaning of reaching me means you will reach moksha. I will give you moksha. What is moksha? You will be free from, ever free from fear, confusion, and sorrow. And mameva yeshyasi satyam te pratijanihi. Hey Arjuna, this is my promise to you. See, Bhagwan is promising us. You surrender your actions to me. Be my bhaktas. I will never let you down. Anything can let me down. Anybody can let me down. But Bhagwan cannot let me down. God cannot let me down. This is a promise to Arjuna. And this is a promise to us. Manmana bhava, madbhakto bhava, matyachi bhava, mam namaskuru. Every minute think of me. Every minute, whatever you do it for me, for my sake. You will never regret it, Arjuna. You will be ever peaceful. You will be ever free from fear, confusion, and also vishada. All your confusion is gone. And then the last teaching verse of Bhagavad Gita is the 66th verse. And what does he say? Ultimate knowledge is knowing me. That is the ultimate knowledge. Whatever I am teaching you, that scriptural knowledge, that knowledge about you being the Atma, me, God being Atma, and that I, this Atma, is the Kshetrajna in all the individuals. I am that Paraprakriti in every living being. I am that God in every living being. I am not different from you. You are not different from me. We are one and the same. We are connected, constantly connected. We are not really different. Your body may be looking different from my body, but then ultimately we are not different from each other. And knowing this teaching that I have taught you, hey Arjuna, you will be ultimately free from all your sorrow. And the 66th verse is the last teaching verse of Bhagavad Gita, where Bhagwan says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyah mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. Know me, Arjuna, as that God in your heart. Forget everything. Sarva dharman parityaja means forget everything else. Don't bother about any other knowledge. Of course, you have to know, you have to go to school, you have to learn this knowledge, you have to go to college. All that knowledge is necessary. But ultimately, the ultimate knowledge is what? Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. Knowing me is the ultimate knowledge. Knowing the nature of me, God, knowing your nature as Atma, understanding whatever I have taught you in this entire Bhagavad Gita, that you are nothing but me. This Paraprakriti, me, is the God in all your hearts. You are all the Kshetras and I am the Kshetrajna. My Paraprakriti is there in all your hearts. I manifest as Ishvara in all your hearts. There is no difference between me and you. Understand this knowledge, Arjuna. If you understand this knowledge, what happens? Aham tva sarva papebhyah mokshayishyami. I will free you from all your papas and punyas. What is the meaning of that? It is the papas and punyas which accrue and which make us come back again and again and again in the form of various forms of life. This time I may be a human being, next time I may be anything else. So the traveling jiva which is traveling can come back with any body. So what is Krishna's promise here? He says that just listen to me, understand what I am saying. Here, Lord Krishna is not talking as a human being. Lord Krishna is not talking as a friend of Arjuna. Lord Krishna is talking here as Bhagwan, as God. He has come here in the form of a human being, but God has come in the form of an avatara. And God is promising us, what more do we want? Isn't it, children? When God is promising us, I will free you from all your balance of papas and punyas. And moksha ishyami sarva papebhyaha. I'll release you from all your insecurities, from all your papas. You have to do only one thing, Arjuna. You have to prepare your mind, surrender to me with bhakti. From the beginning, be a karma yogi, be my bhakta. Be a worship me as a Ekarupa, Vishwarupa, Ishvara Bhakta. I talked about it in Vishwarupa 11th chapter, 10th chapter. Correct? And understand me as the Kshetrajna in every heart. This is the knowledge, that is the only knowledge which is worth knowing. This is the highest knowledge. This is a liberating knowledge. And Arjuna, I promise you, what I am giving you in this so-called Bhagavad Gita at the time of this war is a liberating knowledge. I promise you that I will free you from all those things that are binding you. You will be ever free, you will be ever happy, you will be ever peaceful. And do this. And then after this, he gives a lot of things as what one should do, what one should not do. But the most important thing is the last verse of the 18th chapter we must always remember. What does Sanjaya say? Sanjaya is reporting the entire war to Dhritarashtra, isn't it? What does he say? The last verse, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishnaha, Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha, Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhutihi, Dhruvani Tirmatirmama. He's telling Dhritarashtra, Sanjaya is telling Dhritarashtra, hey Lord, hey Raja, I have seen the whole thing that has happened. I have heard all that Lord Krishna has given to Arjuna. And I know one thing. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. Wherever this Yogeshwara Krishna is there, why is he called Yogeshwara? Bhagwan Krishna is standing in the Jnana Yoga as Yogeshwara Krishna and giving this knowledge. He is representing the very Vedas that are giving this knowledge. Wherever this Krishna is there, and Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha, wherever in with this Krishna, if there is any receptive mind like Arjuna, any one of us, all of us are Arjunas with our receptive minds. And if we recognize Bhagwan Krishna in our hearts, there is Krishna there. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, in my heart, Krishna, Bhagwan, in any form you think of, is there in my heart, Yogeshwara Krishna. And I am the Partha, Dhanurdhara Partha, prepared for this knowledge. What can happen? There is only one thing that happened. Tatra Shrihi Vijayaha Bhutihi. There can never be any kind of loss there. There can be no defeat in such a person. A person who understands and sees Yogeshwara Krishna in his heart, and he sees himself as the prepared, receptive Arjuna, there is no question of any loss for this kind of a person. There is no sorrow in this kind of a person. Vijaya, Jaya, or success is 100% assured. Success may not be in the form of making more money, having more number of cars, having more number of houses. That may not be the success. Don't think that success, that is worldly success, that will also come. Don't worry. If you surrender to Lord Krishna, he has promised us what? Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. I will take care of your Yoga Kshema. You will never have to go begging for anything. I will see that you are comfortable wherever you are. Lord Krishna has promised us material security also. And more than the material security, Lord Krishna is giving us the security of peace, happiness, security, freedom forever, forever, not temporary. Freedom forever from dukkha, sorrow, moha, confusion, bhaya, fear. What else do we want? Isn't it? So let us all be Dhanurdhara Arjunas and let us accommodate Lord Krishna as the only thing in our hearts. Let us surrender to that Yogeshwara Krishna with whatever we are doing. There is nothing else. There is nothing else, children, in this life. This is the only thing. This is the only thing, nothing else. Everything else is doesn't matter. It is there. Everything else is there. But I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional because Bhagavad Gita makes me cry every time. It is one of the most beautiful things that anybody has told me. So there's nothing to worry. Let us all be Arjunas. Let us trust Lord Krishna. Let us open our minds to Krishna. Let him work on our minds. And there is nothing short of moksha for us. Nothing short of moksha. I think with this we'll stop. And I don't think I can speak anymore today. I have completed in whatever few classes I could. I have tried to give my best because this is the most meaningful thing for me. I have tried to pass on whatever I can to the best of my ability. My intention is only to sow one small seed of interest in Bhagavad Gita in you children. And I'm sure you will get more and more better, wonderful gurus who are going to take you further on this journey. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.